Hi, I'm Ksenia, and welcome to another weekly look at the astrological weather ahead for us, and what it's going to possibly bring into our lives and how it's going to impact us. This is a very exciting week. There's so much happening, but particularly one event happening within this week that I really can't wait to talk about, but it's happening at the end of this week period. So we'll start with a couple of the other things, just give a light overview of the energies that are going to be playing out. And then I'm going to get to the big whammy, and we might take a look at what the impact is going to be for each sign as we go through this particular configuration that's coming up for us. I'm very excited about it, actually. And I just want to say I'm sorry for the reflective nature of my board here. I'm working on a way to overcome these reflections that are causing it to be difficult to see, but bear with me for the moment. Hopefully by the time I next do a little session here, I will have fixed it up somehow. Anyhow, let's begin. So we're looking at the week from Thursday the 18th of October in Australia. Now I'm only going to, just to save confusion, I'm going to use Australian time, where when I say Australian, I'm referring to the people who watch this video who speak English, the Western mostly Western countries. So I term Australia and New Zealand into that sort of that part of that, and we are a day ahead, so to speak, of everyone. What is the Thursday the 18th for us will be the 17th in most other Western speaking countries around the world. So the UK, England, and other European countries where English is a language are all going to be on the 17th of October, which is a Wednesday. But I'm just going to use the Australian term, the Australian dates, just to save confusion. If you are in another Western-speaking country, then please subtract one day from what I'm talking about. I hope that makes it easier. A lot of people have been getting confused by the dual dates that I tend to use. So basically what's happening in the sky on Thursday the 18th in Australia and New Zealand is going to be the exact same thing that's occurring in the sky on the 17th in other Western speaking countries around the world. So this is the configuration for the 17th in some parts of the world and the 18th in other parts of the world. So I hope that clears things up, and I hope you can work with me then on these energies and these dates. So the first thing we've got on Thursday the 18th is a conjunction between the Moon and Mars in Aquarius. This is a alignment that's going to make you feel strong. It's going to make you feel sexy. It's going to make you feel brave. It's a beautiful connection of Moon emotions and feelings with Mars passion and drive and energy and sexuality. So we're going to feel passionate, driven, energized, sexual on this day. And that's a really exciting energy to work with. We're going to be more spirited. We're going to be more quick to respond with our emotions, and instinctive, because the Moon is our instinct, more instinctive about our initial reactions and our reactivity. So it's a great day actually to implement that in some way in your life. But equally, it can also mean some volatile emotions might start to surface. And if we start to feel irritable or bossy or overly assertive or even antagonized, then we need to be very conscious of that and take a step back, look at our circumstances and try to find some way to relax and go into that moment. Now, we can dispel this energy if we find ourselves being, our Mars component being, or the shadow side of Mars being sort of invigorated by the connection here, then we need to, the way we deal with that is to let our energies out into some way of love or emotional service to someone else. So it might be, you're feeling agitated and frustrated, offer your spouse or your partner or even your child a little foot massage while you watch telly at night, and you'll be getting rid of some of that grrr energy and putting it into something that is more loving, more more connecting with another person. Equally, we could put our energy into cleaning the house or washing the car or doing some kind of activity which is connected to caring. The moon is our caring, it's our nurturing. So we care for our home, we nurture our home or our garden, we care for our vehicles, our possessions, and we take good care of them. So it's a good day when we're feeling a bit, if that happens, to channel our energies into whatever we tend to nurture and care for in our life, be it a child, be it a partner, be it a home or a garden. If we push our energy into caring and nurturing, then we sort of offset some of the triggering effects that Mars can sometimes bring up in our lives emotionally when it connects with the moon. Now, the next thing that's going to occur in the weekly astrology weather is a connection between Mars and Mercury. And this is going to be a square from Mars to Mercury over here in Scorpio. This is occurring on Saturday, the 20th. And this is going to lead to some, Mars is, oh my gosh, sorry. I just had a kangaroo jump through my front yard out the window. My goodness. People make jokes about kangaroos hopping down the main street in Australia, and we're always like, yeah, right, that never happens. But I did just had a kangaroo jump through my front yard. Oh, it's still out there. Oh, God. Sorry, this is really funny and unusual. Back to the astrology, or maybe there's some animal symbolism there that I need to look up after this video's done. But back to the astrology. Okay, so we've got Mars squaring Mercury. Mars is obviously our energy, it's sudden impulses, it's drives, and it's entrepreneurism, it's go-getter kind of energy, and it's connecting with Mercury, the planet of how we learn, our intellect, our mind. So what's this going to bring for us all on Saturday, Friday in other countries? Well, you might jump to conclusions about things, mind and quick reactions. You might be jumping to conclusions about situations that you really don't need to worry about. You might have some rushed thinking, rushed mental actions that lead you to say the wrong thing, put your foot in your mouth, say stuff that you regret later, very Mars energy to do that, and maybe you might jump to some wrong conclusions about circumstances that you're in at the moment. So watch your thinking, be aware that this is a day when our mental energy is going to be invigorated in a very trying kind of way, with the square aspect being made between these two planets. This can lead to disagreements or arguments or lots of argy-bargy happening between people, in families, or, between bosses and subordinates and so forth. So, it all depends whereabouts it's falling in your natal chart. But generally, this energy is going to be one of mental angst, mental sort of aggression on this day. So watch out and guard your tongue. Be very careful what you say, how you say it, and who you talk to on this day. I will also say Mercury is connected to cars. So, and Mars is this aggressive energy. So be careful of road rage. Don't go speeding. This can, impulsive sort of actions at this time can lead to problems like accidents or, car, you overheat your car or something like that. So just be really, really careful. Any type of risk taking, please think twice before doing anything risky. That's anything risky in a financial sense, but also in any type of everyday living sense. Look three times before you cross the street, and or make sure you only cross when you press when the green light's going or whatever. So be really careful about taking impulsive action, responding to certain situations in a very Mars-like way. We really need to slow down and take the time to think before we do. And any kind of sport that burns up this Mars energy is going to be really, really helpful as well. So, have a hit of tennis, or, play some basketball with some mates, or something that really burns up this energy. Or if you're not very sporting like me, then maybe you could do something that's more conservative in terms of, maybe some sort of hobby or something, but nothing too outrageous on this day because of the nature of the Mars-Mercury square. And then on Sunday the 21st, we are going to have the moon, who's by this time moved out of Aquarius down into Pisces, conjuncting with Neptune here in Pisces. Now this happens once a month, actually, because Neptune's such a slow-moving planet. It's in Pisces for like roughly 14 years or so, and the moon goes around the chart once a month. So we have a connection between these two once a month. So it's not an unusual connection by any means in Pisces. And but just the same, we can still be aware of the nature of Moon-Neptune conjunction, and certainly any children born on this day are going to have Moon-Neptune conjunction, making them very Neptunian. They will be very sensitive people, very emotional people, and we're going to be able to, on this day, and for children born on this day throughout their whole life, they're going to be able to pick up on the sensitivities of others, the emotional, inner reactions of others, even if other people aren't expressing their emotions, even if other people aren't saying what they feel or displaying what they feel. Moon-Neptune people, and for most of us on this day, if we really hook into this energy, are going to be able to sense, oh, hang on, they're really pissed at me. I don't know why, but I just know they are. We're going to pick up on all those sorts of things. So our intuition is heightened, our psychic ability is heightened when the moon connects with Neptune. Our dream life is really enhanced because, for a start, this is in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. Both are connected with dreams and fantasies, and the moon is connected to subconscious things, even karmic things from a past life. So we might have dreams that are related to either our early childhood or also to our past life experiences that we are now working with in this life to overcome or to incorporate or in some way into our lives. So we can find, pay attention to your dream life whenever we have a Neptune moon conjunction in the chart, because this is your subconscious trying to tell you things, trying to reach you, trying to guide you to higher states of being. And so, yeah, it's a very powerful day in terms of psychic connection, dream connection to the higher realms. We can connect to the higher realms through our feelings and emotions, the moon, and Neptune is one of these celestial outer planets that is all about our subconscious. I'll talk a little bit more about the celestial planets shortly when I get to my big exciting what's happening later in the week section. But that's just really the nature of Neptune moon conjunction. Pay attention to your dreams, write them down on this day, and also tune into your sensitivities regarding other people. If you feel that something is a bit off with a friend, it probably is. So you might like to broach that topic with them in a gentle, loving, water energy manner. If you feel like something really wonderful is going to happen in your life, then it probably will. You'll get this sixth sense, this intuition that's really heightened on this day. And finally, before we get to what I'm calling exciting news, it's probably the space nerd in me that's getting excited about it, but we have Venus sitting at 5 degrees of Scorpio going retrograde. Now, the reason I point this out is because in Nikola's Serbian astrological degree theory, 5 degrees is very pivotal. It's a degree that relates to sex symbols and the most beautiful people in the world. People who strike us from a very visual, beautiful personification, beauty personification way. So this is it's a day when we've got Venus retrograding, Venus the planet of women, retrograding through Scorpio, hidden secrets, at 5 degrees, which is about beautiful, attractive women, the most beautiful. I believe Marilyn Monroe had her Venus at 5 degrees. it's a day when we should keep an eye on what's happening in the media and entertainment and music industry, you know, with famous female celebrities, people who are in our current society we tend to hold up as being very beautiful, you know, people who are in careers that are related to being attractive, to being beautiful, in the beauty industry even, you know, models or makeup artists and people dealing with Venusian type things around beauty. So we need to, you know, it's going to be very interesting on this day to see what happens in those realms, the realms of beauty, you know, female entertainers and so forth, because Scorpio is about hidden things coming to light. Venus retrograde is about going within and unleashing whatever is blocking us regarding Venusian things. And when I say unleashing, it's about working through our Venusian problems and issues within. So in a collective sense, there's going to be some big outworkings on this day regarding the beautiful women of the collective, basically, and things will come to light on this day. Much more of the things that Venus is all about and that has been hidden for many years in Scorpio, that's the nature of Scorpio, hide things, will start to be really churned up within us or exposed now at this time, ready to be dealt with over the remainder of the Venus retrograde period. And then when Venus turns direct again, it will come back across this point and readdress some of the issues that come up on this day. So I'm just bringing that to light to sort of point out that on it's Monday the 22nd, keep an eye out on the news and in entertainment blogs and Facebook pages and whatever, and see what's happening with regard to well-known beautiful women on this day. All right, now we get to the exciting stuff. I am so excited about what's happening on October the 24th, which is a full moon in the signs of Scorpio and Taurus. Now, there's so much heavy duty Scorpio action right now. We've got Venus retrograde there. We've got Mercury there. Big old Jupiter's up there, coming towards the end of his time in Scorpio, sort of giving his last little bit of oomph to what's been going on over the past year that Jupiter has manifested. So all that in Scorpio opposing Uranus and the moon, which are conjunct in Taurus at 0 degrees. Now this full moon is occurring at 0 degrees. And this is 0 degrees is a very powerful degree for new beginnings. You know, we're getting rid of the old. We're out of the old sign and we're at the first degree of the new sign, Taurus and Scorpio. And so this means new beginnings, new starts, new establishing something new. And of course, in general, a full moon, when it occurs, is all about the fruition of everything that we've been working towards over the 2 weeks previously, and sometimes even the year previously since we last had a full moon in these signs. So we can see fruition for all the energies that we've been working with over either the last 2 weeks and to a lesser extent the preceding year. And of course that all plays out in particular house placements for an individual. But yeah, it's going to be a power-packed full moon on October the 24th. Because of all these planetary energies weighing into things. But not only that, the thing that excites me is Uranus's involvement. Because when we have the sun opposing Uranus, it means we are going to actually, if we are able to step outside at nighttime at the right time, we're going to be able to see Uranus with the naked eye. And this is a special time that it really only occurs once a year. It's when the sun fully fires its visible energy onto Uranus because it's opposite. And the Earth sort of is between and can see most clearly Uranus because of this. Now, it doesn't mean that Uranus is actually at its closest point to Earth. Earth travels around the sun. And so at this point, when we are, when the sun is here, Uranus is here, and say Earth is here, We are at our closest point to Uranus in the cycle of our year tripping around the sun. The rest of the time, like we might be out here and Uranus is over here. But this day, October the 24th, is when we are going to be at the closest point to Uranus in our cycle, the Earth's cycle around the sun. It doesn't mean that Uranus is at its closest point to Earth. That is not going to occur until 2050. Hopefully we're all around to see that occur. But in Uranus's cycle around the sun, it reaches its closest point to the earthly orbit in 2050. So just to clarify, we are at our closest point to Uranus in our yearly cycle, but the closest connection of the Earth and Uranus will happen in 2050. So there's a lot of astrologers out there saying, oh, we're closest to Uranus. Yes, we are for our yearly cycle, but not at the closest point in Uranus's cycle around the sun, which is actually when, according to miles or kilometers, we are at our closest point that we can be to the planet Uranus. So just clarifying that one. But like I said, this is the day when we can actually, if we really look hard and know where to look, we can see Uranus with the naked eye. Now, Uranus is one of the 3 celestial planets. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. In ancient astrology, traditional astrologers used the visible planets up to Saturn as their guides, and so therefore we see that these visible planets correspond to the manifested events in our daily lives. So, you know, Saturn will bring manifestation, Jupiter can bring manifestation. They all bring in events that happen in our lives according to when they trigger things by transit in our natal chart. However, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they are more connected because they're invisible, connected to our subconscious realms, to our our spirituality, our psychology, our subconscious, the things that are from past lives. There's connection to past life karmic stuff there. So they're planets that are all about the things that you can't tangibly touch, taste, see, hear, and smell. They're very spiritual. They're very creative. They're very psychic. They're very intuitive planets. But the difference with Uranus is he straddles the world of the tangible and the world of the psychic or intangible. He covers both. He's the only planet that covers both because most of the time he's invisible. We can't see him with the naked eye. So therefore he's mostly relegated to subconscious kind of realms, intangible realms. However, there are occasions, such as what is occurring this week on the 24th, where he becomes visible to the naked eye, where we can actually see him if it's not going to be obscured by the light of the moon. We can see him without a telescope. So on these few couple of days, it makes Uranian things very real, very tangible, very present in the physical world sense. Now, we can experience that at a personal level. You know, when you get a light bulb moment, when you get an idea, it seems divinely inspired and you're like, oh, yes, I can do that. And you get goosebumps. Uranus rules our nervous system and electricity. So what are the goosebumps the result of? Our nervous energy. You know, it's a nervous system reaction. And so this is an example of how in our own bodies, in our own lives, Uranus will give us a divine inspiration, light bulb moment, and then our body responds in the physical sense with goosebump reactions to what we've just thought of or an idea we've just had. It's a very powerful Uranian example of that straddling between real world tangibility and psychic world. So what do you think is going to occur on this day when we not only have Uranus being lit up by the sun in opposition, but we're also having the moon joining in as a manifesting planet at 0 degrees, first degrees of these signs that are involved. It's going to be a red letter full moon, that's for sure. I mean, we could ordinarily say in another year, the moon might be here, completely like in another sign, and Uranus might be lit up by the sun with no moon involved at all. And that's our day when we can go out and see Uranus and visualize him. But this year, it just happens that the moon is going to be full on this day. So it's a powerful day, a powerhouse day. Get my words out properly. So we can expect that on this day we might get sudden things happening on the earth that are connected to Uranian things. We might find there's maybe problems with electricity. We might find, there's power outages or the internet goes down. Uranus rules these things. We might find that there's problems with, airlines. Uranus rules airplanes and flight. We might find that there might, and I say problems because there is an opposition occurring here with the sun. We might find also that there might be volcanic activity or earthquakes or something like that unfolds because Uranus rules those things as well. So, I mean, I'm presenting you the deep, dark, gloomy stuff. We might find sudden psychic downloads, occur on this day. The moon is our, is our emotions, and it's a very psychic planet. It's a very karmic planet. So we get some sort of psychic light bulb moments regarding our karma, regarding our intuitive insights into things. And the moon involved can also bring caring and nurturing. Suddenly, someone comes into our lives and they're very caring and nurturing towards us, and we're like, oh, how lovely, we didn't expect that, we didn't see that. It's a day of the unexpected, that's for sure. But it will also, like I say, be connected to the manifestation of the full moon the moon at its strongest and most powerful. Now we might have sudden upsets. Uranus actually rules detachment. He rules the sign of Aquarius, which is the most detached of all the signs. So there can be some detachment from relationships, from friendships even. There might be family disputes or even a sudden change in direction regarding some sort of friendships. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose friendships. This is a manifesting energy of the moon, a fruition. Maybe you just sort of detach a little bit from something that's been holding you back. And this is a day of instinct and, like I said, psychic talents being very prominent in our collective consciousness and in also our own personal journey. Take your insights, your light bulb moments, your flashes of, insight very seriously. Pay attention to them. Don't ignore them. If you get goosebumps from a light bulb moment on this day, you've got to really, run with whatever idea you've got. You've got to pay attention to it. You've got to incorporate it into your life. If you don't, you are missing a big opportunity. And it's also really important to express your uniqueness on this day. You're going to emotionally want to. You're going to feel emotionally empowered to express your own uniqueness on this day. Uranus is this unique energy, eccentric, left of center, very unusual energy, and we need to express this on this day. It is going to be a really important thing to do, to express ourselves and to not be held back by tradition or societal expectations. This is a great day for creative expression, for channeling divine inspiration even. That's the nature of the Sun and Uranus conjunction, but we've also got the moon, the moon and Uranus conjunction, but we've also got the Sun opposing. And this brings unexpected and exciting events that are going to shake up our world. Now, it happens once a year. We get this opposition happening. And adapting to changes, it can require some extra effort at this time. You might actually find that your nerves, because Uranus is nerves, moon is emotions, and the sun opposing both these energies, you might feel a little bit frazzled, a little bit frayed, a little bit as this day goes on. And this because Uranus is visible, This can come from outer circumstances rather than usually it would come from internal things with Uranus, but it can come from an outer source this time. So it might come through you're frazzled by your partner or your children, or your car breaks down, or you get a bill that you weren't expecting, or something happens and it just frazzles you, and it causes tension on this day. Because Uranus is visible, is bringing something into the visible realm through this opposition with the sun and his visibility. Now, on the positive side of this, you might get an insight for the future that you can then run with, but you might also get a real intuitive sense that something's about to unfold in your life. Something is about to be manifested to reach its fruition, to bring blessing to you. You might get a real sense of that before it even happens, a psychic sense. And with this anticipation of something new happening on the horizon in your life, and don't we all want that in the middle of Venus retrograde, it can leave us feeling a little bit nervous or apprehensive, what's going to happen. And so if we're feeling that way, the way to deal with the frazzled energies and the feeling of anticipation, something's coming, the way to deal with this is to do something out of the ordinary, to take some sort of unique path, to channel this energy into doing something that we wouldn't usually do, something a bit unexpected. Maybe we might go paintballing, or maybe we decide, I've never been to that restaurant, I'm going to go to that restaurant, and we just do something that's out of the ordinary, out of our daily routine, unexpected for us, and we in that way then channel Uranus energy into something good, something positive for us, rather than letting his electrical sort of sudden unexpected energy manifest in a way that could be destructive in our lives. So I would encourage you, don't plan it too much because it's got to be a bit unexpected, but maybe brainstorm some ideas. When we have the full moon, I'm going to go for a walk in the bush in the moonlight, or I'm going to go swimming in the ocean in the moonlight, or just imagine 1,000 different scenarios, and then when this day occurs, pick one and go do something out of the ordinary, something very unusual for you that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Now, there can be somebody enter into your life on this day as well, someone who comes into your life unexpectedly in order to sort of radicalize things or shake things up a little bit and get you out of a rut. Now, this can either be a feminine person or a masculine person, because both the sun and the moon are involved. But whoever comes in will probably come in, stir the pot, shake things up, and then leave. It's not like they're coming in and they're going to be a lifelong lover. It's much more that they've come in, perhaps they bring their peculiar, eccentric energy into your life, and it kind of tilts you a bit off your usual course, but for the highest good. So you can expect that to outwork as well. Well, let's have a look and see just quickly where we're going to be having these effects occur for us according to our rising sign. So if we have Aries rising here, the Uranus manifestation energy, the visible Uranus energy, is occurring in the second house, along with the moon's fruition, fullness. So we can perhaps think about second house things, such as doing something that brings us pleasure. So think about doing something that's out of the ordinary in your life, related to pleasurable activities, fun activities, or even activities around finances. Maybe you get an impetus, some sort of light bulb moment to, if I invested in this particular stocks on the share market, yeah, I never thought about that. That might actually work. And you get the goosebump confirmation from Uranus. Do it. Invest in something like whatever it happens to be, shares that you're interested in. Take a pleasure flight. Just go to the airport, if you've got no cash to do this, mind you. Go to the airport. Uranus rules airplanes. Pick a flight and say, right, let's go to Denver, or whatever. Let's do something completely out of the blue regarding pleasure and pleasurable experiences, money, investments, how we earn money, that sort of thing. All right, the next thing we want to look at is Taurus. It's all happening in your first house. I would encourage you to do something unexpected, something perhaps a bit Uranian regarding your own self-expression. You know, show up to yourself, express yourself. Maybe make a video, you know, on that you share on the internet. I mean, the Uranus rules internet. Just sharing your insights about something, or write a blog about something that you're very passionate about. Share your uniqueness, share your unique perspective on the world, your unique take on the world with other people, with the world. Uranus calls us to do that, to be authentic, to be ourselves, and in doing so we become more liberated. And you might find if you do some form of self-expression on this day, some creative self-expression, letting your emotions come out in healthy ways, that you really receive some kind of a affirmation for that, or you can perhaps get some sort of self-insight and self-growth from doing that. And maybe from this point on, you suddenly like, I'm never going to hold back on sharing my love of Halloween because that's coming up, obviously. You know, I'm not going to be intimidated about my love of the kooky and the crazy and the gothic and whatever. I'm going to actually start to share that. In Australia, we don't actually tend to celebrate Halloween, although it's becoming more and more popular. But I won't. That's a topic for another talk. It is fun. It's kooky, and my children love to dress up and be scary. So we do that in Australia. My children and I, even though it's actually not all that socially acceptable in Australia at this point in time. So that's one example, if you like, of expressing something you love, expressing something that's very different and unusual for you. In my circumstances in Australia, it's unusual. It's not unusual in places like America, but by expressing the things that captivate us and that make us unique and different and set us apart, we are channeling our Uranian energy regarding the self, regarding the first house, which is our self, our bodily journey through life. All right, so that's Taurus in the first house. Gemini places this event in the 12th house, full moon in its 12th house. And so we can expect to perhaps have some heavy-duty psychic intuition, some heavy-duty dreams coming to light for us, or we get some sense of like full-on deja vu. With this, we get it's going to be very psychic for people who are Gemini rising, very karmic. There's going to be insights into past lives perhaps that come to light, because Uranus will reveal things from the celestial realms to us in order to help us become more liberated, to become more authentic, to set us free, which is his whole purpose in the transit. So we can expect to, get some radical spiritual insight on this day if we're Gemini rising, and it's gonna be very, very powerful day for that. And if we get those goosebump moments from some sort of spiritual aha moment, write it down, and so you can remember it and use it into the days and months to come. So we're going to move through these quickly. Cancer places this event in the full moon in its 11th house. So and this is the house that is ordinarily ruled by Uranus. So we can expect that, we might have some kind of interaction with our friends that brings us to a place of liberation and authenticity. We can expect some kind of real world manifestation in terms of friendships. Maybe we suddenly join some group collective movement that we've been thinking about for ages. Look, it could even be just like the local dance group or something. It doesn't have to be, a big political movement or anything, but we join some collective group of people, and from then on we found our tribe and we feel at home. Moon is home. We feel, oh sorry, I got hair in my face. We feel at home. We found our tribe. We feel at one with whatever group it is that we might join, or whatever friendship circle that we suddenly find unexpectedly out of the blue find ourselves a part of. Equally, we can also see some manifestation. The moon is the most manifesting planet of our goals and dreams. You know, we take baby steps throughout life, or we just, you know, plodding along towards our goals and dreams, and then we have this enormously manifesting full moon on Uranus and the 0 degree of Taurus, and suddenly some out of the blue, unexpected opportunity falls in our lap to help us realize our goals and our dreams, and to receive the rewards for the efforts and energy that we've been putting in throughout our lives. So having it in the 11th house is very auspicious. This is going to be exciting times for people with Cancer rising. So yeah, please leave after this event, leave a comment on this video. Let us know what manifested for you in terms of hopes and dreams, or perhaps large groups of people and friendships for you. Then we go to Leo. Leo has been very active this year over the last 18 months with the nodes in there. So what is this going to now manifest? It's going to manifest things to do with career for people with Leo rising, and to a lesser degree Sun or Moon in Leo. Same with all the other planets. Sun or Moon there can manifest things as well. It places it in the 10th house. Worldly achievements, career. So you might find that, you know, it's just say you've prepared some kind of maybe a YouTube video or something. It launches to the world, and you get sudden unexpected fame from it, or you get sudden unexpected offers of opportunity that come from a video that you've put out there, or some piece of work. You know, maybe it's an article you've written, or maybe it's a project you've been working on in your career that you suddenly get recognition for. And so definitely for Leo people, there can be big manifestations in a sudden, unexpected way pertaining to career. And that's going to bring liberation. That might bring some sort of a boss also into your life. The 10th house is related to bosses and authority figures in that way. So, you know, there can be some sort of unexpected and very exciting encounter with some sort of an authority figure. And it's going to, bring possibilities to shake up your world, to redirect your life, actually, in terms of anything to do with career. So that's for Leo rising people, something to anticipate there too. And for Virgo rising people, we have this falling in whole sign astrology in the 9th house, which is the luckiest house in Hindu astrology. And so because this is the reason that is because the 9th house trines the ascendant, which is that pivotal, most important point in anyone's chart. So we've got this lovely trine to the 9th house happening for Virgo rising people. This can mean sudden unexpected events in terms of relationship to our gurus. People who offer us inspiration, our benefactors in life, might suddenly show up, might suddenly say, hey, I know you've been struggling. Let me support you to establish your new business, or let me offer you some wisdom and some guidance in a certain area that I know you've been having trouble with. So there's going to be maybe some sudden support comes to you, maybe some sudden wisdom comes to you, some sudden guidance, some divinely inspired outer world event that occurs for you that provides you with some sort of expanded worldview, expanded sense of who you are and your place in the world. It's a very philosophical house, the 9th house, and very connected to philosophies. And so you can find that your philosophical view of life is expanded too. Equally, you can undertake some out of the ordinary event to channel this energy in a positive manner by maybe taking a trip similar to the 2nd house, maybe taking a trip. But it would have to be a big trip for the purpose of soul expansion, and also something that is completely out of the ordinary for you. So unexpected, say you live in New York and you've never been to Europe, and on this day you think, right, flying to England, I'm going to fly to England for the weekend, and you've never been to another country in your life. So it's completely unexpected, out of the blue, and it's a big trip. on an airplane ruled by Uranus overseas, not overseas, it's a large trip for the purpose of expanding your worldview and your mind, ninth house things. You might also decide to undertake some sort of study or get some sort of study opportunity that comes to you out of the blue on this day as well, connected to higher learning or achieving some sort of degree or something that can manifest too. So we now move to Libra. And this is going to manifest things in the 8th house. So channeling the right sort of energy in the 8th house means doing something unexpected, something out of the blue, out of the ordinary for you in regard to 8th house things. So you might have never had a past life regression. And on this day, you're like, I'm going to have a past life regression. You do this sudden out of the ordinary thing that's about what is usually taboo, what is usually hidden, what is not mainstream. You might also decide that you're going to go see some sort of a horror film, and you've never been to a horror film in your life, and you know it's something completely unexpected. It's not a mainstream popular kind of thing to do, you know. It's a bit obscure, and so you go and do that. It could also be, you know, I would encourage you to steer away from doing something unexpected regarding criminal activities, although for some people manifesting at a lower level that might occur. But also maybe do something unexpected with regard to astrology. 8th house is connected to astrology. Why don't you grab, you know, a picnic blanket and pack a beautiful picnic and go out and lie under the stars and watch the full moon and see if you can find, although it'll be difficult under a full moon because the sky is usually quite lit up by a full moon, see if you can find Uranus. Download some sort of sky watching app on your phone and go out and learn all about the astronomy of what's happening in the sky on this night. So do some sort of things relating to stuff that's hidden, that's maybe a bit more occult, which is another word for hidden. So those sorts of private things that aren't usually what you might do, what aren't usually the kind of stuff that you might get out there and experience. And so that's probably what I'll be doing. I've got a Libra moon, so I'll be going out and lying on my picnic blanket and watching the celestial events. Scorpio, this is powerful because all these planets in Scorpio now are really having an impact on Scorpio people and the rest of us. And so we've got this manifesting in 7th house. What does this mean for people with Scorpio rising? It means that they need to do something unexpected and out of the ordinary in relation to other people. So, you know, it might be a day where you are inspired out of the blue to contact an old lover, to contact somebody maybe that you've met over the last 2 weeks while the moon has been moving from its new moon phase to the full moon phase. Maybe you've met someone you think, hey, they're a bit of all right. And so you decide on this full moon, unexpected, out of the blue day, I'm going to send them a text and ask them out for coffee, or I'm going to, you know, in fact, I'll even do something more spontaneous, more out of the blue, more unlike me, and I will send them a dozen red roses to their workplace. They won't be expecting that. It will be a surprise for them. And so you really channel this Uranian unexpected energy. Maybe you could, like Uranus rules electricity, send them a neon sign in their name or something. You know, you can buy those sorts of things online these days. Do something unexpected for somebody else relating to Uranian things, which is unexpected energy that's going to bring about some liberation and some authenticity. Maybe you've been having a difficult time with somebody and you decide, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm going to set things straight. We're going to just iron out the creases here and make things right. And you do something spontaneous for the other person in order that they, you know, you can bring some more harmony and balance to your life, which is the nature of the 7th house. It's very much connected to Libra. So you do something out of the blue, unexpected, and very kind and caring nature of the moon that benefits somebody else. And ultimately, when we benefit other people, when we bless other people, we're actually bringing that kindness back to ourselves as well. You know, whether we see it instantaneously or whether it happens down the track or whether it's just a karmic thing. By being kind, we are therefore creating great kind karma for our own lives too. So yeah, perhaps you could brainstorm a few different ideas for how that might play out for you. The day comes and you're like, close your eyes, point, that's the one I'm going to do, and away you go. You do something exciting and unexpected for somebody else, or maybe even with your partner. It might be a great day to sort of surprise your partner with a champagne chicken breakfast in a hot air balloon, or something that they would never have imagined would happen in a million years. So for Scorpio rising, be spontaneous with regard to partnerships and you'll have an awesome day. The next one, we've got Sagittarius rising, and this will put the moon and Uranus in the 6th house. So this is going to be spontaneous, be exciting, be Uranian regarding 6th house things. So, you know, ordinarily with our 6th house stuff, and particularly for Sagittarius people with Taurus there, which is a fixed sign, they like their routine, they like things safe and secure and solid. Ordinarily, we don't tend to encourage or see much unexpected things happening in the 6th house because it's the house of routine. But today you need to shake it up a bit. You need to bring something unexpected to your daily routine, what you do. Instead of going to the gym in the morning, maybe you say, you know what, I think today I'll go for a walk around the lake, and I'm going to go to the gym, you know, at 7 o'clock tonight instead. You just change things up, mix things up. It doesn't mean you don't exercise or you don't do whatever it is that you need to do to make you feel happy in your daily routine. But it just means mixing it up, shaking it up a little bit. Equally, your work life is also seen by the 6th house. So by doing something a little bit unexpected at work, something a bit unique, then you can also channel some positive Uranian energy into that. And again, I would draw on the moon, and perhaps you could be encouraging or nurturing or caring towards the people you work with. Maybe, I mean, it's springtime here in the southern hemisphere. Maybe you might like go and buy a bunch of daffodils and you give everybody at work a daffodil, and just, you know, to mix it up, to change things up, to just, instead of rocking into work and grabbing a coffee and going to your desk, you interact, you communicate, you do some kind of act of service and kindness, which is very 6th house. The archetype is that of the priestess or the priest with the 6th house, which is actually all about serving others. So find some way to do that, like the daffodil, or buy everybody a muffin, you know, shout everyone morning tea at work, or something that's unexpected, out of the blue, and is about offering kindness and service and love to other people in a very 6th house way. Alrighty, Sagittarius, and next is Capricorn. Capricorn energy is going to play out in the 5th house for you. And again, this is trining the ascendant. So it's again a very auspicious house to be having this this energy unfolding for you in. And the 5th house is love and romance, it's pleasure, it's fun, it's joy. So it's a great house to be having to channel some unexpected Uranian energy and some nurturing moon feeling emotion energy as well, because you can just choose anything fun to do and you'll be channeling that energy right, you know. I mean, there's a million different ways you could do it. You might think, hey, you know what, I'm going snowboarding today, and you haven't been snowboarding for 10 years and it's completely out of the blue, unexpected. You go and have some fun. Equally, do something romantic for your partner, for your lover. You know, so many ways to do this. Run them a beautiful bath, because that's very nurturing and caring of you. Beautiful bath with rose petals all over the top and some champagne by the bath, and, you know, put their favorite candles on and music. You know the kind of drill. Be romantic, but do it out of the blue. Do something that you wouldn't ordinarily think to do for your lover, and you're going to reap the rewards. Lucky Capricorn on this day. So make sure that it's unexpected. Make sure that it's spontaneous. I mean, like, I'm telling you all these ideas, but you can, I would say brainstorm them and then pick something out of the blue on the day itself, because it needs to be Uranian. It needs to be unexpected and spontaneous, really. But it doesn't mean you don't have to plan it. You can't plan it. So that's one way of channeling fifth house things. Equally, do something for your kids. Do something special. Instead of coming home and getting on their case about homework and being the hard ass, come home from work and say, hey kids, you know what? Let's go see that movie that we've been wanting to see. Forget homework tonight. Let's have a night off. We'll go see that movie, or let's go roller skating, or let's go 10-pin bowling, or just do something that is completely in your role as a parent, to your children, just unexpected, and watch them light up. That the moon is mothering, and the sun, father figures. So very, very powerful day for mothers and fathers to invest in their children if they've got Capricorn rising, placing this energy in the fifth house. So if you're not in a relationship, then you might like to even channel it through some kind of offering to children. So you might say, you've got nieces and nephews, and you rock around after work and say, hey guys, let's go for a picnic, or let's go for a bike ride, or I'm going to take you down to the park, or whatever. But if you can invest in children in some way, if you're not in a relationship, then you'll be really channeling this fifth house energy. And finally, for fifth house, anything creative. You will probably receive from the universe some big time downloads regarding creativity and personal creative expression, because it's the house of creative expression, and Uranus wants to express its uniqueness, its eccentricity, its difference. So you are going to, of all the signs of Capricorn people, you are going to have probably the biggest impetus towards being creative, expressing yourself, letting it out there through a painting, through photography, through maybe going to a karaoke bar and singing for the first time ever, or something like that. Power can come to you through creative expression on this very special day. And then we move on to Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus in modern astrology, and so this is actually Aquarius places the sign of Taurus in the fourth house, which is an angular house for anyone with Aquarius rising, meaning this is a powerful placement for Uranus to be in. If we've got Uranus natally in an angular house, it makes Uranus very powerful in our chart, particularly if it's conjunct the IC, AC, DC, or MC. And also when it's conjunct the moon or the sun, makes a celestial planet really powerful in our lives if it's at any of those places. So people born on this day who are Aquarius rising, they're going to be so Uranian, it's not funny. But for Aquarius rising people, having this happen in their fourth house is going to mean the focus is on home, heritage, roots, lineage, and family. You might actually find that something suddenly comes to light about your family that you never knew, that was completely unexpected, completely out of the blue, something about your family history. Moon is karmic, something about your lineage that you had no idea of, maybe a skeleton out of the closet kind of situation, with this energy that just wins you. You weren't expecting it, you didn't see it coming. This can happen. There can also be something with the mother that might happen unexpectedly. Maybe you get a call from mum out of the blue and you haven't heard from mum in months, or maybe Uranus is detachment. So sometimes there might have been some feeling of detachment from the mother, and then when we've got this full moon with Uranus, maybe we're getting some sort of energized push to address whatever has cause this detachment, and we deal with it suddenly, unexpectedly, and out of the blue. Maybe we've been feeling estranged from a mother for a long time, and we decide, you know what, I need to detach from her. I need to just shut that out of my life so that I can move forward. That's also another way that this can actually play out. Or, as I said, we can have a figure, some sort of mother or father figure, but in this case I would say some nurturing figure, the nurturing parent, might come back into your life from momentarily, like for a couple of days, shakes things up, sets you on a different path, and then leaves. Like mum might come for a visit for a couple of days, and you just get some radical insight about who you are while she's visiting, while she's there, while her energy is present with you. And when she leaves, you're like, right, well, from now on, I'm going to start keeping my house tidier, or from now on, I'm going to actually be more nurturing and caring to my own children, because I've really valued having my mum at this time. It can play out in so many different ways, but it's going to be connected to mother or connected to family heritage roots. And it's going to be an unexpected event, an unexpected energy that is going to cause you to get new insights, perhaps maybe feel more detached, or to liberate you and make you more authentic in your relationship to your family. That's going to be the ultimate goal of Uranus's energy here. And finally, with this placement, it can actually mean some kind of manifestation with your physical home. So you might have been looking for a property to buy for, I don't know, months and months and just nothing. And then on this day, you open up your app or the newspaper or whatever, and there it is, the house of your dreams. And my God, it's affordable. And so you go and put in an offer. And this can happen on this day for people with Aquarius rising, suddenly finding their home they want, suddenly manifesting the home of their dreams on this day can definitely occur. So if that's you, I hope you strike it lucky on this day, and please leave a comment. Let us know what happens. Also, Uranus rules electricity. So if you Moon for Aquarius people is the Lord of their 6th house. So be careful of electricity in the home with your daily routine on this day. Don't go flicking on lights or electrical, plugging electric wires into their sockets with wet hands or something like that. Be very, the moon is connected to the tides and water and so on. So be careful of electricity on this day in your home, and act sensibly, act wisely, think about what you're doing. All right. Pisces. What is affecting we beautiful Pisces people? Well, it's falling for us in our 3rd house of communications. Well, naturally, this is going to mean some kind of unexpected communication that occurs with us, something out of the blue, something that we weren't necessarily waiting for or looking for, but it will just come. That can be an email, it can be some social media contact, it can come through a phone call or even a meeting in person. Any situation where there is communication that's undertaken will be very important for Pisces rising people on this day. Now we might actually we might get some kind of message or communication out of the blue unexpectedly that changes our life, that sets us on a whole new course, that radicalizes our destiny, from some sort of authority figure. The sun is connected to father, or not really authority figures, but father figures, people who are sort of fatherly towards us, in sort of that father type authority, if you like, over us. Or it might come from a woman who is, who is like a mentor or a matriarchal figure for us, somebody who we look up to and respect. Both of these planets indicate men and women that we look up to and respect. And so we might receive some kind of communication from somebody we look up to and respect, somebody in that matriarchal or patriarchal type role for us. And of course, we've got the sun making aspect to this from the 9th house, which is benefactors, again, people who wish us well, our house of luck and good fortune, which this house is ruled by the planet that rules our rising sign, Jupiter, who's also sitting there. So it actually can be a very powerful day for Pisces people regarding communication, because they're being aspected by the sun and the moon, people we respect and our matriarchal, patriarchal people in our lives, and aspected, I should say, being opposed by the Lord of our first house, Jupiter, as well, involved in all this too. So lots of expansion and opportunity might come through this communicative interaction that's occurring. Now, for Pisces people, it also can mean that you might need to instigate some communication out of the blue. Maybe with your siblings. Maybe you've been chatting with your brothers and your sisters for a while, but it feels like there's distance between you, and so you're like, screw this, let's get together and let's have lunch and we'll just reconnect the way we used to. So you might ring everybody up on this day and say, hey, let's get together, have lunch or dinner or whatever, and you go and do that out of the blue. Sudden communication and connection with siblings can occur on this day. So it's a powerful day for everybody, but in different realms. And for Pisces people, it's all about communications. And businesses can also be seen. Small business can be seen by the 3rd house. So you might suddenly get an opportunity to work with a small business, or you might get some sort of communication from a small business, or somebody you respect in the realm of, a small business manager, like a woman who manages her own small business might contact you with an unexpected opportunity that you've only dreamed about, that's part of your psychic destiny, part of your subconscious longing. Uranus is connected to subconscious realms, so you can receive some sort of subconscious direction in life from the subconscious realms that manifests then in material reality for you. And that's just one example of what might occur. So that's it. We've been around the whole horoscope. We've had a look at how this wonderful, exciting, very unique full moon is going to be playing out, and I do hope it's given you some insights. Please leave comments in the comments box below about what manifests for you on this day, so that we can all learn, we can all grow in our understanding of how astrology plays out for people. But good luck, and perhaps let's close with another prayer, just to request that the universe support us in the week ahead. So we just call on the energies of this universe, particularly the energy of love that is everywhere and part of everything, that it fills us this week to be able to work with these energies, to be able to manifest the higher realms of these energies, so that we can see unfoldings of blessing and goodness and opportunity and success happen in our lives. And help us to see these opportunities, help us to listen to our instincts and our higher self, so that we can make the most of what the universe wants to give us. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next week.